The old school Final Fantasy, probably looking at it and saying, that's not Final Fantasy, that's Final Fantasy Renaissance. The tip that I'm going to give you works for pretty much all Final Fantasies. Now, I played the NES version, I played the PlayStation version, I played Game Boy, PSP, Wonder Swan, Pixel Remaster, and I played this version. There's really no other reason to play any of the original Final Fantasy, including the Pixel Remaster at this point. This takes everything that the NES does and fixes all of the problems and then adds a lot to it. And the reason why I need to say that is because when we get into the game, you're going to see a couple classes that you've never seen before. The spoilers on this are going to be very low. You will see an airship, but if you don't know that Final Fantasy has airships, then you might want to just stick with playing Paper Mario. You are going to see class changes, and I'm going to do, you will see what a couple of these classes can do. So what I'm going to be showing you is a very low level grinding spot. Now this is low level to the point where you have not been in the actual first cave, the Marsh Cave at this point. This is everything up to that point and you getting ready for that cave. Obviously, if you start your game, you're very familiar with this area. The only prerequisite for this really is to get the boat. And in order to get the boat, you have to go to the city, which will be the second city that you're going to go to anyway. When you get here, you're probably going to want to save in this inn, because if you go over to the left, there's this pirate guy here. When you talk to this pirate guy, it's going to force you into a battle fighting a series of 9 pirates. The pirates aren't really that big of threats, but the problem to know here is that at this point, you're not going to have anything that's going to be a multiple hit spell or anything. So you're going to have to take them out one by one. So once you take out those pirates, then when you come outside of the city, there's a dock there and the boat will be waiting for you. This is when you can start your grinding. Now, most people, from what I've heard, and you'll actually see this, I believe, in the Nintendo Power issue 2 that goes over the strategies for this, say to grind in this area here around Elfland, which is because this is actually the path to get the Marsh Cave. And you can grind out here and you'll actually come across ogres and creeps, and that's basically what you're looking for. I highly advise against that. The reason being, for a few reasons actually. One is ogres hit hard, and it's going to cause you to have to take a whole bunch of trips to the inn. It's nice that the inn is right here in Elfland. However, this is going to be the most expensive inn that you're going to come to. So if you're trying to get gold, which is our main goal right now, you don't want to do this. Another reason is because there are arachnids and asps in this area. And arachnids and asps poison you. Now, they don't give you very much money. So I think you get about 60 gold or something for killing arachnids, something like that. But when you get poisoned, it's going to cost you 75 gold just to get rid of that poison. And for some reason, it seems like they have like a 2-person quota in each battle that they want to poison. So I want to give you an idea of what you're looking at money-wise per character to give you an idea what you're looking at gold-wise. So if you have any fighters or red mages in Elfland, you're going to want to buy each one of them the silver sword. That's going to cost you 4,000. An ogre is going to give you 195 gold, so it's going to take a lot of ogres just to get 1 silver sword. But that's not all. Those are just the weapons. Now, if you're taking into account armor, especially if you have any sort of wizards, you'll definitely want to pick up the iron stuff for the fighter. For any wizards you have, you're looking at the copper bracelet, which is going to run you 1,000 per wizard that you need it for. Then on top of that, you've got spells. And we're going to start, since we're in this area, we'll start with the level 4 spells. Those are going to run you 4,000 apiece. Level 3 spells will be 1,500, but there's another thing that you have to get here, and that would be the items. Because you're going to want to buy a lot of heals. You're going to want to stack up your full all the way on heals, 99 heals, so you're looking about 6,000 for that. Pewers, you're probably going to want to drop about 3,000 into. You'll probably want to get some tents or cabins to save your game and heal up outside the Marsh Cave when you go in and when you come out, so you don't lose those items and so forth. So you're looking at a good, depending on what class you're talking about, I think a red mage could run you about 20,000 gold if you want to get them fully souped up for the Marsh Cave. So how are we going to do that? Because you don't want to fight that, that many ogres. That's why you want to go to here. You want to go to the ocean. And what we're looking for is actually this fight right here. These guys right here. These guys have only 50 hit points, whereas an ogre, I believe, has about 100 hit points. They hit a lot weaker than an ogre does. And the good thing about them is each one that you kill is going to give you 120 gold. Now, you're most likely going to fight anywhere from about 2 to 5 of them in one battle. So if you end up getting 5 of them, this battle by itself is worth 600 gold. Here I'm going to get 480 since there are 4 of them. Now, if you're playing the Final Fantasy, the original version, I'm not exactly sure how zones work, but I do know that I find them mostly in this area here. So what I normally do is just kind of go back and forth here to get as many of them as I can. So we're actually going to go ahead and run from this battle. Other than that, though, to be honest with you, the monsters in this area aren't all that great. The sharks will get you some good XP. If they're with the red sea hags or whatever they're called, then you do get some decent money that way. The other benefit to fighting them in this area is the fact that you're right. Of course, they get a fight. We don't need another 480 gold. You're right close to the starting city, which means that you're going to have the cheapest inn when you need to heal and restore yourself. In addition, you can actually buy your heals and pewers at this location before returning to Elfland. So that's the main thing you want to know about low level grinding. By the time you get to the point where you have silver swords all over everybody and spells all the way up to level 4, you're going to breeze through the Marsh Cave a whole lot easier. And pretty much everything after that, as long as you're still grinding and you're hitting the pencil of power, you're going to breeze through this game. And it's going to be a lot easier than most people say it is. One thing I do need to mention about this that's very important about the Pixel Remaster. The Pixel Remaster has relocated the silver sword. So it's actually no longer in Elfland, but that's a strike against it. But the Pixel Remaster is actually an easier version than just the regular Final Fantasy, so you probably won't have to worry about that. Now, I do want to throw in one more benefit here if you're playing the Renaissance version and you're actually using the spell blade or the spell blade, Ruin Knight, whatever it's called in this one, which is, I believe, the newest class that's come out. When you get to the point where you have class change, the spell blade will have these spells that they can buy, which will give them, will change their physical attack to an elemental attack. Now, each one's going to have 2 levels. It's going to have the standard level and then the bonus level. You won't get the bonus level until you get to class changes, and at which point you have to rack up 50 points to unlock that. And you get 2 points per kill using that specific spell on your blade if the enemy is resistant to it, 3 if they're just take it normal, or 5 if they're weak to that specific spell. So I'm going to show you just really quick from this starting city a good place to get those points, because the trick here is you're going to want to get into fights as fast as you can. So one benefit is if you actually travel to Astos' castle right here, remember that when a lot of treasure chests towards the beginning middle will place fights right in front of them. And Astos' castle has a very good and very easy to get to treasure chamber. When you go into the treasure chamber, be very careful, because when you go through the door, you're going to want to walk just one up. You don't want to walk a second one up. That will put you in a fight you probably don't want to bother with. But if you go to this chest that I'm about to walk up to, you're going to get in a fight with mummies. Mummies are let me actually we don't want the achievements. Mummies are actually weak to a lot of things, and one of the benefits is they're weak to the higher level spells, which you're going to have less of at lower levels, so you can get those 5 points faster. So mummies are weak to fire, holy, and water. Now, when you get in this fight, one thing to know about mummies is they can put you to sleep by hitting you. So the best thing to do, and I'm not going to do that in this case, but I should, just to show you the fight, the best thing to do is take your spell blade, move them to the bottom row so that they're less likely to be hit, because the way that Final Fantasy works, it aims that the person that's at the very top is going to take the most damage or get hit the most. So this is where you're going to have the mummy fight. And I'm just going to do this really quick. I'm going to go through it really quick. Oops. So one other thing you want to do when you do this fight is just remember that he has to actually get the kill to get the points. So the best thing to do is, for the first round, cast whatever spell it is you're going to use, fire, holy, whatever it is, to get the points for him, and then waste everybody else's turn. I'm going to give you an example of that. So if I take a step back and go back, boom, I get the fight again. You're going to get about anywhere from 3 to 5 guys. So what I would do is I'd first round cast fire. I can waste this guy's turn by using Spell Lure. It's not going to do anything. I can waste the red mage's turn by casting slow. I can waste the white mage's turn by praying in this game. So now at this point, doing it this way, the only person that's going to attack this whole round would be my Spellblade. So just that's something to keep in mind when you're going for these points, because you're going to want to have him get all of the kills in the battle so that you're not wasting your spell charge and getting just like maybe one hit. And that's all you need to know for Final Fantasy for low level grinding. And that's all you need to do if you're playing the Renaissance version and are using a Spellblade if you want to get those spells up quickly. I think it probably took me maybe like 15 minutes to level up each one of those spells.